a recap. We said we're going to start doing this. Should we start today or nah?
Alright guys, welcome back to Valorant News. Massive drama going down last night in the European side with Vitality versus Heretics getting very spicy indeed for a number of different reasons. The Vitality super team seems to be struggling as it stands, with Heretics with a massive victory to try and get their season back on track, but that was not...
Wait. Why is he talking so fast? Brother, what the fuck is going on?
He's still out of the series.
Hold on. Can we watch it? We might have to watch this in slow motion, bro. What the fuck is going... Hold on.
Alright guys, welcome to Valorant News. Massive drama going down last night in the European side with Vitality versus Heretics getting very spicy indeed for a number of different reasons. The Vitality super team seems to be struggling as it stands, with Heretics with a massive victory to try and get their season back on track, but that was not the key storyline of the series. Sayf finding himself under fire here from multiple angles, not just because his in-game leading didn't seem to work out, but also for some other comments, shall we say, of the day. Very much interested your thoughts in the comments. Roster changes potentially happening elsewhere as well, with rumors about Loud making another change. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's start here because challenges happened yesterday. And there was some, well, Qbert Academy played Winthrop University. This is a big game because Winthrop are a good team and not to be taken lightly.
Winthrop are good. This guy's got jokes, huh? I like him.
And it was actually a really competitive series. But in the end, Qbert, they got the job done. Redux and Ismoke, Scuba, Knights, T-Dog, those boys, they got over the line in 3. After Winthrop took the map 1 Lotus, they bounced back on the Icebox 13-11 with a massive offensive side. It's interesting for Qbert, isn't it? Because they can't win Ascension.
Oh, hold on.
Because Sentinels are in the Pro League, so like they can't come up because it's a Sentinels team. But there's still potentially a lot to be learned and gained, of course, from having the run that they potentially will do this year. And then the Haven was an absolute banger, 14-12 Redux with a sensational final map. So competitive series, as you might expect, really, there right now. There was good reaction to it, as Redux says. 2-1 Winthrop. Those guys played hard. Fair play to them. And obviously running the Omen, like Reed Omen he's talking about, right? Which, yeah, it's interesting note anyway, because on the final map, it seemed to work out kind of well. Still, with Redux, like, continuing to improve and play better, it always does raise a couple of questions about what the future of the Sentinels team is. If they don't get the results they want for the rest of the year. Of course, there's always been talk since the very start of the season about whether Redux to the starting
tournament
team is something to consider at some point when he is old enough to do so. And I think he turns 18 in a couple of weeks' time. So
Redux turns 18 soon? Did anyone tell fucking Zelsis? Do we DM him and let him know?
So, like, the option is maybe there relatively shortly if required. Now, I will talk about the other games. You know what, let's just do the other games quickly first of all, because YFP took down Funhavers. QOR were 2-1 against SRB. This is actually a really big game in the context here, because, you know, SRB have looked difficult to beat lately, but QOR with Nerve and those guys come out and deliver an absolute masterclass on the map 2 and map 3, 13-4, 13-8. You're not likely...
Wait, QORB... Is SRB still Ludwig's team? I think it is, right?
To see that all that often. So, you know,
we should get, if we get Qbert versus SRB, we should get Ludwig to watch party together. He'd probably be down.
Games, really. Like, it is the Swiss stage, so it doesn't matter.
If we get Qbert versus SRB, we should get Ludwig to join and also Rob as well. We'll do a trio cast with the 3 of us. That'd be good, yeah?
That much if you win or lose at this particular moment.
Ludwig and Rob.
But just to look at the fact that M80 lost to Ambrosia, and then Ambrosia though then go on to get 2-0'd by TSM. Yeah, there's definitely matchup related stuff here where certain matchups are better for some teams than others. But there's plenty of takeaways.
2 owners and a bum. All right, cool.
Here from these series, even though it is very early days, but it's TSM.
Or maybe just Ludwig and Rob. Okay, what we'll do is I'll bring them into the call and I'll just listen and won't talk.
QOR and Qbert, they are the teams that advance to the 2-0 side for now, and there'll be more matches to come, of course, as you guys can see right here to close out the second round. M80 versus Burger Boys is a big one that I'm keeping an eye on, really, because M80, they need to start getting some wins on the board, especially with what they've committed to making it work again this season. Now, this is what I was
Curry to Leviatán.
Leviatán, I don't really know what's going on with this franchise. It's they're in such a weird position, really, because they're a Latin American franchise. But I think to many fans in that region, they simply don't feel like it at all. And this is another such example. Like, no issues with Curry. I think he seems like a reasonable guy and, like, entertaining character. And he's joining Lev as their new content creator. But understandably, a lot of Lev fans, if there even are any left, are like, hang on.
Any Lev fans in the chat? What the freak are we watching? We're currently watching TacticalRab's 10-minute breakdown of all the Valorant news because we have no idea what goes on in the space because we don't use our phones outside of stream. And this is a good way to stay updated. It's like the CNN of Valorant.
In a second, he doesn't seem to precisely represent what type of brands Lev are trying to be, especially when their pro team has gone through some similar interesting
Valorant news
changes.
is kind of boring. No, this is good. This is good. This is important because okay, it's not boring. It's informative.
And none of them have really worked
honestly,
out.
like some of the stuff I missed.
At some point, is hoping for a proper organization, and there's a very good reason why Aspas just left. So you get lots of replies. So
Aspas left Lev because didn't he get the bag from MIBR? No, he left Lev for Bleed. He got the bag from Bleed, right? And then Bleed died, and then MIBR said, "Hey, how you doing?"
Such as, I mean, this is like one kind of classic example really here of the replies, and to say, look, at least a Spanish speaker or somebody. But yeah, so there's many similar like reply. I mean, I'm sure this says something similar. A total lack of respect for the community. Curry has always spoken badly of Latino players. Leviatán does not represent
1.5 speed. No, he's already talking too fast for me.
Latino pros nor creators. So I think it kind of sums up the feeling really. Obviously, Curry's going to do a tweet about it that he ran through Google Translate because it's not like he speaks Spanish. So well, I don't think he does anyway. So I mean, yeah, interesting your perspective in the comments below. Lev are just in a bit of a shambles really from all angles right now.
Dear Latin American fans, I truly regret what I said about Kesnet being a baiter, and I apologize to Kesnet and the fans for having said something so absurd. I already apologized to Kesnet directly, but I haven't apologized to you guys. I'm so... What the fucking PR?
And that does not seem especially likely to change anytime soon.
What a fucking cuck. Can we get Curry in the call?
But let's talk about the drama in Europe, because man, this was a big day. So Liquid played for esports and they got a big win here. This is actually a really comfortable victory. I mean, for esports, to me, they're like the gatekeep team in a way. Not the gatekeep, but like they're the benchmark team where if you can beat for esports, certainly if you can do it comfortably, then you can.
Ironic that you say PR CACW. Me? They call me Tarik PR Selic.
Be a serious threat. And after making the change where Kamek was gone and Team Liquid initially it didn't look like it was going to work out, this series it really did. I mean, certainly.
Oh my god, my Turkish brethren, 13-1. Sentinels would never. Oh wait, just kidding. But like, damn, I've been waiting for Foot to like randomly just be like top 5 in the world, but it never happens. 471 ACS. Yeah.
One Lotus was a 13-1 demolition job, and even after that, the split back on Liquid's pick after a 6-6 half. They got the job done on the defense, and Serial was their highest rated player, at least, on the Astra, on the final map of the series that they played. So just nice to see maybe that Team Liquid are turning a bit of a corner. Of course, the Kamek for Serial change was controversial, to say the least, after the solid start to the season that Liquid had, but maybe it's proving to be paying off for now. But
Zeus has the highest ACS in the world, but now that changed? Really? Isn't Zeus like he's like 18, right? He's like their new guy.
The series that many were waiting.
This is not April Fools. One American wasn't enough. We had to bring in the big guns. Welcome to Fnatic Valorant Prod. What the Shibar? Let's watch this clip here, bro.
I can heal you.
Dude, well, I'm not even kidding.
Waiting for yesterday was this one. Team Vitality versus Team Heretics. The Vitality God Squad that they tried to form for the season. That sure, they started the year in a very...
I'm not even kidding, but like, believe it or not, that crosser's making me whiff. Told you, bro. I actually told you.
This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life, brother. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why, but it doesn't look like he's playing. Like, the way he's sitting on his chair, like, it doesn't look like he's actually playing the game. It looks like, I don't know, it looks like he's in a Discord call just chilling.
I mean, I'm telling you, the crosser, no, I'm telling you, I changed.
Very positive manner, but that's not necessarily guaranteed to be maintained, and right now it doesn't necessarily look like it. Heretics were the other way around. They had an excellent year last year, but didn't quite capitalize on that at the start of this season. Looked like they were going to regress to some great extent, but we know that they've still got the talent there and the potential underlying the surface. In their
If Lev BG2, I shave my beard. Oh fuck! I look like this without a beard. Oh fuck!
encounters, Vitality had won every single time. And this time was
we'll decide before the match.
Vitality went down 2-0 to Heretics, and this was not a close series at all. And, well, before we discuss the series, I'll share what Sayf had to say during the series, and then we'll come back to that a little bit later.
7-5, and
I can't watch this. I was told not to watch this on stream. I'm gonna have to skip this part.
my mom is gonna give us a little bit.
This confuses me.
This confuses me as well because no one knows if he actually delivered on that promise because they did 7-5 that half.
From multiple angles. Firstly, why Sayf would even say that in a bit, like, I don't get it. And second of all, why the broadcast team would actually publish it, right? For everything.
That's what I was saying as well.
This did not have to be broadcast publicly on the broadcast, but it was, so it is what it is. Now, of course, Vitality in this moment, they, despite the fact that Sayf was 28 and 28, I mean, look at him, 1.04, like, on the Sova, sure, great performance, right? But of course, the team got clowned, and Miniboo on the Neon, certainly on the Icebox, was an absolute menace. And the Haven was not much better. It was 13-10 on the Haven in the end. Heretics got the job done there. Sure, that was their pick, but Vitality on the Icebox, of course, a map where Durka and Fnatic historically were just so strong. Kicks had an awful map here.
4 and 16.
Had a brilliant one. 13-6. Heretics get a comfortable 2-0 win. So, look, my questions about Sayf are not really on the comment. It's more so about the context of the team. Obviously, Sayf, as a very talented individual player, there's no doubt, but, you know, there have been many individual talented players in the history of not just Valorant, but, you know, just FPS esports in general. It happened many a time in Counter-Strike. You get a very talented player who says, yeah, I can in-game lead, no problem, I'll call the shots, I'll call the strats, I'll make it work. And maybe it doesn't work, right? And this is the question on having a proper in-game leader, as it were, that certain teams have, whereas Sayf has kind of stepped into that role. And, well, it was okay at the start of the season, but this could potentially be a very telling result. If you get slapped around by Team Heretics like this, especially with the super team, and of course they made the change.
Brother,
the recent change.
Brother, on to the next one. Sorry.
Was Sayf coming in to try and get even better. And initially it looked okay, but this was a test of a series, and it was a test that was failed with flying colours, if that even works. So Vitality go down. Of course, lots of the reaction was to whatever the hell was going through Sayf's mind at this particular moment, and even Jake is like, what could possibly be the context for what Sayf said? And even as, you know, Red Bull obsessive with the replies, I'd be so caught off guard if one of my teammates said that, which I think is maybe a fair point as well. Like, are you not going to get checked out at a moment like that? I don't really know. Weeded says, Sayf ain't never living that one down.
Weeded, you made it. Is he here? You're in the fucking video, bro.
So people are calling him Safemund Freud, right? Like, those of you out there who know will know what people are getting at with that one. But, you know, then people kind of took the adjustment to say, okay, what about Safemund Fraud? Because maybe he's a fraudulent in-game leader. So that's what I eventually put on the thumbnail, because it was a big conversation topic of last night. Before we close the video, some scrims to go through, and one very interesting one
goodness.
Envy were playing Lev. This was 15-5, which is definitely a notable result, given, you know, this is a challenger's
Inspire
team.
the GOAT.
Maybe not the best challengers team, but certainly a very strong challengers team that can cause some serious damage potentially. Crew were playing someone. They were down, you know, well, they were up 11-2. This guy slammed Val, was down 2-11. But this was the interesting one. So Loud were playing NRG. As we can see, Luxo's here, DG Zan's here, Toys is here.
Toys is back,
so Toys
maybe.
is back, right? That's the notable thing. Toys is back in, and
Wasn't
we've got
Toys?
Tom on the other side. So Loud have made a change. They obviously made the change. Toys was gone. Luxo was back in. He played well.
Someone said scrim results as news, Keck W. Wait, now that you say it, it is kind of funny that we're fucking using these. It is funny that the scrim results are a part of our news.
And the team was still bad. So, what are they doing?
Let's review the scrim results.
Is it Vinny? Because I don't think we 100% know. We're not sure whether it's, you know, whether it's Vinny or whether it's Karanzan. I don't think it can be, like, there's no way they drop Karanzan, surely. I mean, but therefore, Vinny's the in-game leader, right? So, maybe the decision is, and maybe it's the right one, like, if I had to guess, it's probably, because Vinny was not performing well, you know, I'd imagine that what they've said is, all right, guys, you know, Vinny, you're out of here. We're not going to bother with the leader. We're just going to run around and try and get kills. And maybe that worked in scrims. Maybe it works in reality too. I don't know. We'll see. But Loud, it seems, are making a change. NRG were up 13-7 on someone else at some point as well. Sentinels played EG. This was 5-7 at this particular moment.
All right, we got to script this part, bro.
Very much on Twitter, your thoughts and the comments. Just one final thing was this I thought was pretty cool because, yeah, it does sum up some of the things we've been talking about, really. Lev, this is public engagements per post and all of 2025 so far. Kind of crazy to think that Qubit Academy are third on a list that includes all of the pro teams. You know, Qubit Academy are cooking 100T, C9, NRG, MIBR, etc. You know, G2 are right down here as well. EG have actually done a bit better. I mean, they're still kind of bottom, but they're actually above Leviatán, which is kind of impressive. These are some of the numbers that Riot Games will at least keep in mind when it comes to deciding who keeps their partnership spot in 2027 and beyond. I mean, Sentinels, Loud, even if Loud don't do very well, they're still a massive organization that represents their region well. So I don't think they're going to go anywhere. It is, you know, we're talking Furia, we're talking EG, we're talking Leviatán, certainly. That will be under fire here to some degree. But very much into your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy.
This is bullshit, Rob. Where's the fucking good shit, bro? That's it? What do the comments say on this video? Justice for Mama Sayf. That's the most upvoted comment. Honestly, valid. I would upvote it, but I'm not signed in. All right. Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our inside scoop from Mr. TacticalRab. He starts off so fast. Holy fuck. Muted? Oh, shit.
Let's welcome on to Valorant news. Massive games going down last night. 100T secure their qualification spot through to the playoffs after a big win against 2G. Boostio finally puts a good map performance on the board, but the big drama really was around G.
He doesn't line before he starts the video.
Disqualification that happened just a few days ago. Right now, come out with their official.
No, I'm not on 2x speed, but it feels like I am. What the fuck's happening?
And confirmation on the matter, and it's far worse than many of us even thought. Very much into your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. Starting here, this is Fnatic signing Prod. Now, this is confusing to many, right? Because Prod, as entertaining of a character as he can sometimes be, it does not seem on paper to be the perfect fit.
Bro, look at the pictures. What are these pictures they chose of Prod? What? They put up a gym pic and a picture. Oh my god. Bro, how hard could it have been to make brother go to the fucking studio, take a headshot, get some professional shit going? No, like Fnatic, you know, you would expect Fnatic to like get him to take a pro headshot, right?
For the type of organization that Fnatic.
Wouldn't that be better? I think so, but I don't know.
There was even discussion here. Well, Prod obviously says, glad to join as the 6th man and 2nd American to the roster. I'll be ready to sub myself in.
He is anti-studio because of moon landing. What does that mean?
At any moment. And, you know, but as Cosmic Devon says, I kind of, you know, I get his perspective, right? Because Fnatic's...
He thinks that landing on the moon is fake? Thinks he's a moon landing denier? Like, I feel like Prod didn't reach that conclusion on his own. I feel like one of his friends must have said that and then got convinced. Or he's a professional rage baiter. It's a popular conspiracy theory that we never went to the moon? Brother, would I ever sell bathwater? Depends. How much you paying? He's a rage baiter, LMAO. How do people not know this?
Brand, especially in Valorant, is built off, let's say, Boaster's personality. You know, like...
I feel like this is an example of an org not understanding their brand. Whole image is built off a likable character like Boaster who's fun and quirky. They sign someone who's aggressively the opposite of that. The fans do not seem happy, LOL.
Character, fun, quirky, whatever, right? You know, Pred doesn't necessarily fit the bill, and maybe that's okay, right? I mean, we saw the other day, Leviatán, they picked up Curry as a content creator, and they've been getting some backlash for that from the Latin American fans, saying this doesn't really fit the bill, and it was kind of the same story with Fnatic yesterday. Now, the reason why this is happening, I'm not 100% sure. It may be related to... the Esports World Cup and some of those associated factors, because we've seen quite a lot of this over the last few days. Teams picking up content creators at around about this time. We know that these teams are partnered with the Esports World Cup. There are some sort of metrics, I imagine, that they consider when it comes to engagement, and you know, it's possibly one of the reasons why we're seeing this move from teams such as Fnatic, but it was certainly a controversial one at that. But let's dive into this. So, Juvenile Dornan, as we know, he was banned the other day, and look, I'm not going to go through every single piece of evidence and like timeline.
Winners, This one's for you.
And that they go through here, but obviously it's worth just scrolling through if you guys would like to read it and exactly which rules that he has, well, breached effectively in the way that Riot see it. 4.1 and 5.11, the ruling they've come up to, the reasoning they've come
Holy
up
shit,
with
they did
as
an
well
entire
on the
report
matter,
on
in
him.
addition to the sanction that is involved
Look
as
at this,
well.
dude.
The TLDR is as follows. Riot Games completed an
Wait, they put a TLDR on the official announcement as well? What has our world come to?
investigation into potential breaches of the Riot Games Esports Global Code of Conduct, 4.1 general obligations, and 5.11 as we saw. Juvenile sent direct messages to over 60
DMs? Look at this. Juvenile sent direct messages to over 60 individuals on social media.
individuals on social media.
Holy fuck.
Many of these messages went unanswered. And just
And left on red. I wonder if you were like followed up.
to quickly comment on this, there was some further discussion that, 60 individuals came forward to say, Juvenile messaged me something.
Wait, he didn't DM me.
That, I mean, look, and even if the things that he messaged them, some of them we saw the screenshots last time were pretty outrageous, but it's just the general concept, and we'll have a look at the articles in a second that he's breached in terms of why this is clearly not okay. But 60 individuals came forward to Riot and effectively said, he messaged me. More, I'm sure, have not said anything, right? Like that's
60 confirmed. Brother, if there's 60 confirmed, he might have sent out 600 messages. There could have been hundreds.
the general feeling anyway. So many of these messages went unanswered, included invitations to meet, suggestive or potentially inappropriate content, and references to Riot Games' venue, raising concerns regarding blurred personal and professional boundaries. Aggravating factors include the volume and persistence of these messages, contact with at least one individual who identified as a minor. So, I mean, it can't get too much worse. I mean, Juvenile, people are saying he lived up to his name or whatever, right?
Damn, this is fucking crazy. Like, I don't know. This is.
But his position as a head coach and overall lack of duty of care regarding online safety.
I'm pretty sure Juvenile. I don't really know him, to be honest. At all. I used to in CS. I'm pretty sure he competed, so I think I've competed versus him. But he's like someone who's been in the scene for a super long time. I'm pretty sure.
As a result, Juvenile suspended from all
But this is like, dude, this is not good. Not good in any way.
competitions for 12 months, effective when this first came out a week or so ago, and is required to complete an executive training on conduct, respect, and professionalism prior to re-entry into the ecosystem, right? So, it's got a 12-month ban. These are the rules, of course. I mean, pretty much the TLDR gave a decent assessment on what happened there.
Gooners do not claim him.
And GA, of course, have got rid of him as well. It's not like it's, global esports, it's fine. Just sit the year out, Preston. You'll be back next year, all good. No, he's obviously been kicked from global esports. They've done their conversations on it, and
They should permaban him. Do you guys think a 1-year ban for this is sufficient? I think the minor part threw me off, but I don't think anyone's hiring him after this ban, bro. True. It would be a PR disaster to hire him after this, probably. What was Chet's ban for? 3 months for leaking VODs or doing VOD review on stream? I mean, Chet got 6 months for that. He got 12 months for this. I feel like he got a slap on the wrist, low key. But yeah, I would be surprised if he was able to come back. Like, not only sitting out for a year, but also just your reputation is fucking ruined. Also, like, for something like this, it's pretty detrimental because I feel like now if you Google his name, like, this stuff will come up. So, like, this stuff really, it's
even if he comes back after 12 months and is available to compete again and become a coach again, I think that there are certainly some organizations that will, it might be as good as like a lifetime ban on some, I don't know which organizations are going to be like, sounds great guy. Like, come on in. Let's become part of our team again. Congrats, Juvenile, our new head coach.
Also, that haircut should be another 3-month ban.
I don't really see that happening because like Chet's got banned, but he didn't get banned for anything of this kind of descript. So him coming back in was no real surprise. In this case, it possibly would be. So anyway, that's the update for you guys on that. Quick update around the world. This is the Chinese region, and we're seeing some interesting games happening there, especially this one, DRG versus Tyloo. A big 2-1 win for Tyloo gets them to 1-4 and puts DRG bit of a tricky spot. I mean, look, they're fine for now. But if FPX were to win and get to 3-2, DRG actually lose the head-to-head tiebreaker with Titan Esports Club if they were to be in that position as well. So yeah, it gets pretty technical in Group Alpha. And in Group B, we do have a series just underway. Wolves are playing All Gamers. This is actually going potentially down to the wire. But yeah, unfortunately, All Gamers, well, the game isn't over yet, right? But it would be a classic All Gamers to show a bit of promise and then lose anyway. They've had a pretty rough time. But at least Tyloo got a win for them on the board. In the Pacific, we've also got some interesting games. This, I think, is just now concluded. Yeah, Nongchim took the win 2-0 against Team Secret. Big win for them. Again, Team Secrets continue just to be very lackluster and underwhelming. 13-10, 13-3 in the end on their map pick on the split.
Team Secret and Shambles.
They go down, and then we've got the other game, of course, on the other side, DRX versus Boom Esports, and this is shaping
it's only
up
a 10-minute
really
video, bro. We'll
the
survive.
Xbox has gone 13-8 in favor of Boom Esports.
Man,
What a showing this has been over the last couple of weeks for them. The progress that they've made. Okay, I mean, that was DRX's map pick as well there on the Icebox. Not like it massively matters for DRX. They're still leading the group anyway, but this...
We have to watch these every day. I think these are good to watch.
This is the battle for the first seed, effectively.
Only
DRX
10 minutes.
Boom Esports, and right now, that is a clinic that they put on the game one. So we'll talk about that, of course, in due course as well. These are how the groups look over there for now. Paper Exit's not completely done and dusted yet, but they have some big games against DFM and GE coming up very shortly. In EMEA, we had two big games yesterday. Fnatic took down Apex 2-0, and KC took down M80 2-0, or M8, sorry, like Gentlemates, not M80, always confusing. Pretty big loss for Gentlemates, really. I mean, given the kind of context of that, with Kamek coming in recently, you know, Zaipan and all those guys over there to go down 2-0 to KC. Big win for KC. Sure, they now sit themselves top of the group, so maybe a bit of a redemption for them. Fnatic.
That group was looking quite close.
Fnatic continue to advance to the top of their group. Apex and Giantex look like, as we expected really, to be the two teams not making it through to the playoffs in Europe. We had some big games though in North America, especially 100T getting back in action last night, and well, we'll see that result in a second. The first one was this, a G2 versus Leviatán. This was a really important game for both teams, obviously, but I think it's potentially kind of an exciting feature for Lev, just that they were at least competitive. This wasn't a complete bloodbath, as many of us expected it, frankly, to be. They've obviously made the change with Rossi coming in, and to be fair, there were moments in this series where Demon 1 showed glimpses of being, you know, 2023 Demon 1 all over again. So, you know, he's on the Brimstone, on the Jet, on the Neon, right, against one of the very best teams in the entire world. But unfortunately for Lev, Trent is just a bit too good. The final map, we certainly saw that on the Haven, on the Tejo, and there wasn't really much they could do. But it was the Fracture, kind of, you know, some moments on the Brimstone from Demon 1, certainly on their defensive side, which are pretty impressive. And the latest, we saw a bit of it too as well here with Demon 1, but eventually they did go down. At the Fracture, they did win 13-11, which was really impressive from Lev, to be fair, to even get a map on the board here. But of course, one map is not necessarily enough, and this confirms G2 to be the absolute top seed, or they could potentially still be second seeds, but pretty much they're going to be right there for the seeding. And as Rossi says, grateful and blessed to have this team. We came from looking like complete bums to a competent team. Give us more time and we'll make it happen, right? So we'll see if Lev can keep turning it around. But yesterday it was a loss, but it was better than we had seen previously. 2G versus...
Holy fuck, I made it. Go back. Went from getting the highlights. My only highlights now are a fucking watch party.
It was a loss, but it was better than we had seen previously. 2G versus 100T was critical last night as well, and this was such a massive round here from Cryo. I mean, have a look at I don't really know what they're doing, to be fair, these lads, but they do just all go down and Cryo kills every single one. Big round, right? Because to get to 10-11 there, eventually take the map and eventually take the series was big because, I mean, 2G, for all the drama, they got rid of Zap, or Zap got rid of himself, or there was some issue. The team obviously has some talent on it, and they've been better anyway since that happens. But Boostio, can you believe it? After a few weeks now of not playing especially well, I know it's against 2G, so it is what it is. But Boostio gets one, and he's here with the Sheriff, and he actually just like has an absolute masterclass. I mean, look at this, 1-2, and he closes out the round as well with the final kill onto Silence. So yeah, nice game for Boostio really, and again, a pretty critical round because after winning the game one, they're down 3-0 on the Icebox, and Boostio comes up with a big round. So So 2 crucial sheriff moments from Crow and Boostio that really turns the tide to the series. And after that round, it was then a 13-6 for 100T. The game one was a 15-13 banger overtime. Crow was 30-18 for the win. So, you know, 2G looking better, like fundamentally, which is kind of strange, given they got rid of their in-game leader in controversial circumstances. But they at least played well enough 100T to get over the line. 2-0 versus 2G. I think we made playoffs, and I believe that is now effectively confirmed. So, you know, playoffs isn't everything. You want to have a good seed for the playoffs if you can. Of course, Boostio has talked about it as well. You know, he's back, no longer a pig and all this stuff. And this is the way that it looks right now in the Americas. So 100T at 3-1, yeah, that's no problem at all. They've made the playoffs absolutely guaranteed. Their final game is against Crew, which is potentially battle for the first seed over there, although Sentinels may have something to say about that as well. G2 are 4-0. Potentially C9 could take it away from them, but it's pretty unlikely that that #1 seed is going to go anywhere else. The big question for many really is about NRG, because NRG, of course, got beaten by G2. They got beaten by Cloud9, and you know, they got 2-0 smoked by G2 really, and now Liv are putting up a bit of a better fight, so it's kind of confusing. Of course, the big games are Furious, C9, and Sen and Loud this evening. Loud can still potentially make it as well. It's not impossible. No names available. Did a bit of analysis here to say that, you know, G2 and C9 can potentially do it. MIBR it's possible too, but pretty unlikely. Lev can still get 4th if they win against NRG. So that's the big result, right? And that's the key feature to note in Group A, or Group Omega, sorry. And as you can see at the bottom here, it's the final game, Lev versus NRG. That will effectively determine who makes it through, because Fury are likely to be cooked. I think, in fact, they are for sure guaranteed. They can't make it anymore. So NRG Lev, that one series is just the crucial series. And whoever loses it, you know, it's time to blow it up, I think. Those rosters will not be long for this world. So very much interested in your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the
Right. Well, who the fuck are those two?
like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.
Rob, we want more news, brother. Where's the drama? What are we going to do with this?